I'm addicted to AR-15s. Today I'm going to talk about my 4 AR-15s. This being number 4, I didn't have enough room on the table, unfortunately. Not within camera view anyways. So these are my 4. 2 scoped, 1 with a red dot, 1 with an ACOG. So stand fast. Alright, I'm going to talk about my AR platformed rifles, my AR-15s. 2 that I have outfitted with scoped optics, and then I have 1 that has a Vortex Spark II and 1 that has a Trijicon ACOG. First 2 that I'm going to talk about are the 2 that are here on the table, which are the scoped AR-15s that I have in my inventory. The one closest to me is a Smith & Wesson lower with a Palmetto State Armory Cold Hammer forged premium upper. The one above that is a Bushmaster lower with a Smith & Wesson Sport upper. The twist rate on the bottom rifle is 1 in 7. The twist rate on the upper rifle is 1 in 9. Both these barrels are chrome lined. I left the A2 bird cage on this particular rifle. I upgraded this rifle to a Gamma 556 VG6, which is loud as hell, but reduces climb, keeps the rifle on target for follow-up shots. The scoped optic that I chose for this rifle is the Vortex 2x7x32 Crossfire 2, using the Burris PEPR mount. For this rifle, I'm also using the Burris PEPR mount, but I am using a Tasco Pronghorn 3x9 that I had laying around, but is surprisingly appropriate for this rifle. It's very accurate. Well, they both are very accurate. Magnification obviously is greater on this one than this one, but this is more suited for QCB type use. Both are outfitted with Magpul furniture. This particular rifle here has the carbine length. This one here has the mid-length Magpul furniture on the front end. I have the regular MOE pistol grip on this one, and I have the MOE Plus on this one. And both are outfitted with the Magpul Mo adjustable stocks. Neither one of these rifles were originally configured as they are right now. This is just where they've kind of morphed to right now is their current state. I actually have no more plans to modify either one of these. The neat thing about the Smith & Wesson M&P 15 lower here is you have the built-in trigger guard, the larger trigger guard for glove use or just for more access to the trigger area. It's built in. It's part of the forged lower. The Bushmaster lower, I added the Magpul trigger guard in there to replace the stock mil-spec one that it came with. As you can see, that this is in fact the Smith & Wesson M&P 15 Sport upper. It lacks the dust cover. Hasn't really bothered me, hasn't been an issue. For what this rifle's intent is in use, it's no big deal. As you can see, that obviously I have the fixed front sight posts on both of these, and I'm utilizing the Magpul M-Bus rear sights. And lastly, both of these rifles have Delton M16 auto bolt carrier groups. This particular rifle has the Yankee Hill Machine charging handle, which has the larger bite here, and this one has the Bravo Company medium charging handle on it. Both of these rifles have been incredibly accurate, dependable. They shoot almost, and I'll put a picture in so you can see the type of groups these two rifles get. I shot them both on the same day using various types of ammunitions, and they both grouped at 100 meters almost identical. Even though they both have two different twist rates. I was shooting a mixture of 223 55 grain Federal, 62 grain ZQI, and 62 grain PMC, some of the South Korean ammunition. And I didn't have any varied or large variations in the accuracy of the rounds where they were hitting. Point of impacts were pretty similar to both. I have probably put in the neighborhood of probably close to 2,200 rounds through this one, and probably in the neighborhood of about 1,600 rounds through this one. So granted, it's not a high volume of ammunition, but it's enough to know the reliability of the platform, whether you're going to have any problems or issues. So far I have had none. Alright, these are my next two, rounding out my four. This top one is a 300 Blackout AR. The upper is the barrel and the handguard are from Radical Firearms. The lower is an Anderson 80% lower. This rifle here is Palmetto State Armory barrel, Palmetto State upper, Palmetto State lower. The handguard on this one is the Midwest Industries. I think it's an SGL-12, I believe is what it's called. It's an older model. And this is the Radical Firearms in-house handguard that I think they're putting out with a lot of their products right now. You see it online if you've ever been on their website or follow any of their stuff. Both of these have muzzle devices that have been added to them. This particular muzzle device right here is a Griffin Arms, I believe it's an MDS. I may have to validate that, but it's a Griffin Arms 5.56 muzzle device. This thing is fantastic. It is my favorite. Kind of pricey. I want to say it was a little over $100, a little over $100, but it does a fantastic job. Just a little on the high end. This one here, this is a Gamma 762 VG6, and it's loud as hell, but it does a really good job of keeping the weapon on target, mitigating the rise, making for ease of a follow-up shot. This barrel is a stainless steel Palmetto State 1-in-7 twist Freedom barrel, and this barrel, I have no clue what it is. To be honest, that's a really good question. I probably should find that out. I know it's a 300 Blackout barrel. Both of these weapons have the MOE Plus pistol grips. Both of these rifles have the Magpul CTR adjustable and lockable stocks. These are my favorite stocks. Both of these rifles have the Bravo company charging handles, the large ones, so you have a bigger bite for your finger when you're charging the weapon. Both these rifles are outfitted with rear and front Magpul M-Bus backup sights. This rifle here, the 300 Blackout, is outfitted with a Vortex Spark 2 optic, red dot. And this rifle has the Trijicon ACOG with the Bible verse on it. Did a video on that, or I mentioned that in a video maybe a year ago, 8 months ago. Both fantastic optics. Obviously, if I could afford to have the ACOG on every weapon I have, I certainly would, but that's just not feasible. I have some of the anti-drift. I think this was through KNS Precision Incorporated. I put it on there. It keeps the pins from drifting. I'm sure you guys wear that. And I have the ambidextrous selector switch on this particular rifle here. On both these rifles I have the vertical foregrip. This is the newer model and this is the older model. As you can see, the older model is a lot wider. I actually prefer the older model, but they're kind of hard to find. And the newer model, as I turn it over, is a lot more narrow. So there are a lot of similarities with the setups for all four rifles. A lot of mag pull, aftermarket stuff. Both of these rifles have been 100% dependable also. I have had no failure to fires, no failure to feeds. I've had no malfunctions. I've been very, very fortunate with these four rifles. I've had nothing but really good experiences with all of these companies. This rifle here is a rattle can paint job utilizing a burlap sack. And this one is, and I've talked about this one in previous videos, is a door-coated flat dark earth paint job. No, don't want to forget that both of these rifles also have the Magpul trigger guard that I've put in, replacing the flat mil spec one that came with the rifles. So, with that being said, these four rifles have, like I said, have been extremely dependable. Obviously, if you're any type of a gun guy, you know these are a blast to shoot. The 300 Blackout's a blast to shoot. And while it's a little pricey still, I don't shoot it as much as I would like to. But you know, maybe somewhere down the line, ammo, probably not, but ammo will become cheaper. Who knows? So, out of these last two, my round counts vary. The 300 Blackout, I think I've reached probably about 500 rounds, 450, 500 rounds out of the Blackout. And then out of my Palmetto State, my go-to AR-15, I am real close to 5,000 rounds through this particular weapon. Decent round count. Again, it's nothing you know, monumental, but it's definitely enough ammunition through the weapon to know how the components are going to work, if they're going to be reliable, if you're going to have any breakdowns, if you're going to have any problems. I think they would have shown themselves by now. So, kind of as a recap, 100% reliable, no issues, no problems with either one of these either. So, those are my four AR-15s. Out of these four rifles, I would have to say that my Palmetto State rifle here in the flat dark earth with the ACOG is my very favorite rifle. If I had to choose a go-to weapon, this would be it. Followed by my 300 Blackout with the 80% lower and the Radical Firearms upper. And I would follow that up with my number 3 choice being my M&P Smith & Wesson lowered Palmetto State Cold Hammer Forged Premium Upper with the scoped optic as my number 3 rifle. Again, I am an addict, but I don't want any help, and at some point in time I may even build or buy another one. But if that is not one of the most beautiful sights you've ever seen right here, I don't know what is.